So this is a quick look at the Maxtoch Xpro Hunter torch. When they have been going for a while, they get very hot. I can still hold on to it. This one's been going for 5 minutes continuously on high beam. Don't panic. They get hot. It's just normal. You can't have that much power coming out of a torch without it getting hot. The switches earth on the brass ring in there. So if you don't have this cap really tight, as in grab it and do it up really tight, they won't go. As soon as you undo that cap, it doesn't earth and it won't go. The switches are replaceable by taking that brass ring out, putting a spare switch in. They have spare O-rings which waterproof the cap to the tube. Batteries go in line like that. Charger will always come up as green, so it's all systems go. It's an intelligent charger. You put the batteries in, even after 5 minutes the charger's still saying yeah, no, they've still got heaps of charge in them. As soon as those lights go red, it means that the battery can take more charge. These smart chargers will pretty much do the guesswork for you. So if it's over, say, 99% or 98% charged or whatever, they'll turn green. They'll sit at 100. You can put voltmeters on the batteries and check it for yourself, but this part of it is all pretty easy. When the batteries are charging, the lights are red. When the batteries are charged, they're green. So even after 5 minutes of using the torch, these batteries haven't depleted enough for the charger to flick back on and try and get some more in there. So green means they're charged, red means they're charging. I thought after 5 minutes of using it, we'd probably get enough out of these batteries for the lights to go back to red, but just shows you how tough these big 5000 lithium batteries are. But anyway, if you have any issues with these O-rings, they do shrink over time. Spare O-rings. This is a 3-beam one, so the way to work the beams on a lot of these things is they have a memory function. So to change the memory, I find the fastest way is you gently push on the button until the light goes, and then take your button off, push it back on again, take it off, push it back on again, and by doing that it'll actually cycle through the beams. So that's obviously high, mid, and then low. The torch is designed that when it gets so bloomin' hot, it'll flick down from high to medium beam just to cool down for a bit, and then when it cools down it'll flick back on to high again. Realistically, these things are very, very good for the money. So they have a de-domed LED Cree chip. They have a really cool little driver that drives that chip to keep the voltage stable. If you have any questions, yell out. I'll just show you how the memory works for the 3-beam as well while we're here. So the memory on the 3-beam is very, very easy. It does what you tell it to do. So if you tell it you want it on this particular beam and to remember that beam, it'll do that. But if you don't sort of think about it when you're using it, and I'll show you what I mean, it's easier. So you can say that, where's low? That's low beam. So if you want it on low beam, you click the button, you let it go for 4 or 5 seconds, and it'll just remember low beam, and then you turn it off, and then turn it back on, and it's on low beam. Same for high beam or mid beam. If for some reason you want it on low beam like what it is, and you don't keep it going continuously for 4 or 5 seconds, it'll think that you want to change the beam. So you're on low beam, you click the button and it remembers low beam, everything's right with the world. You turn it back on, still on low beam, everything's fine. But if I turn it off and then turn it on without waiting 4 seconds for it to remember that beam that you were on, bang, it changes beam. So it's just one of those things. You'll learn how it works. You've got to keep it going on the beam you want it to go on for at least 4 or 5 seconds and then turn it off, and that's the brain will just remember that beam. So if you want to use it as a spotlight, find high beam, click the button, leave it going for 4 or 5 seconds. Its little brain says, okay, that's what you want. Turn it off, and then next time you turn it on, it's going to be on high beam. Voila. If you want to change it from that beam, all you do is turn it back on, then turn it off, and then turn it on again, and it changes beam. So it remembers the beam that you set it on for 5 seconds, but you must keep doing that. So every time you're on high